Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today we've attended this little Citroen Berlingo. It's a 69 plate, so around about 2019/20 I believe. The customer complaint with this one is currently it's at a garage at the minute, and the complaint that they've got is an ABS warning and the power steering has went hard on it. Now on these they're obviously fully electric power steering, so the ABS faults and the power steering obviously might be sort of related faults to each other. So we're going to get the X-Link plugged in and see what sort of faults we've got logged on the health scan, and we'll just take it for there. But yeah, we've not posted much at all this week, more so because we've been busy outside of work. We're in the process of maybe moving vans, so it's just a bit difficult now to get stuff filmed, and the work and everything else, it's just kind of building up. So we kind of need to cut out the filming a lot and just get the work done so we can get through what we need to get through throughout the day. But let's get this Citroen Berlingo plugged in and see what fault codes we've got. So we've just got the X-Link connected up and we're going to perform a high-speed scan. While it's doing that, I'm just going to show you the warnings that we've got on the dash. So if I start the van up, just give it a little second, you can see that we've got a whole bunch of warning lights there: engine management light, ABS, TPMS, all that sort of stuff. We've also got the ESP, ASR system fault repair needed. So once this health scan is done, we'll take these in the back of the van and we'll show you what the health report has given us to go on. Okay, so we have done a health scan and saved it on the X-Link. Now there is a total of 18 fault codes. A lot of them that are on the health scan or on the actual report itself are not relevant to the tests that we're doing today. Some of them are just passive faults that have been logged on the computer for a while. There's a couple of faults here for hinged rear doors and all that sort of stuff. We're not interested in that fault today. The main one that we're interested in for the ABS is a rear left wheel speed sensor fault, and that is reporting as faulty. Now the garage reported to me that there's already been an ABS sensor fitted on the rear left, but we'll show you what fault codes we've got here because you can easily get muddled up. So if you go into the scan itself, it tells you you've got a fault in communication with the ABS ECU. We've got rear left wheel speed sensor, permanent fault, steering angle sensor, permanent fault, and we've got a couple of random audio faults that we're not here for today. Now the reason we are focusing on the rear left wheel speed sensor is a lot of these faults that are on the report are communication errors. Now we can communicate with every control module that's fitted to this van, so we know there isn't any communication faults. But what happens is when a sensor goes faulty, for instance on the ABS, it more or less logs a lot of these fault codes. It just kind of causes a domino effect in other control units, and they report a communication fault with ABS because it's not getting, the information, all of the information from the ABS. Now we have got a fault there for the steering wheel angle. That's also very likely to be in correlation with the ABS sensor fault, believe it or not. So we're going to focus on the ABS sensor fault first. If there is any faults after that, then we can obviously deal with that as well. What I've done here is I've just dug up live data on the wheel speeds. Now the ignition is on at the minute, and you can see the left rear. I'll just move this now so it can focus. You can see the left rear wheel speed has got an invalid value fault. So we've definitely got, more than likely got an issue with the wiring, or it's possible that the ABS sensor that's been fitted is just aftermarket junk, but I'm unsure if they've fitted a genuine unit. So I think it's time to get underneath this van and see what's going on with this ABS fault. Let's get the wiring checked. Okay, so we're just set up on the rear left. There's thorns and everything in there that's jagging my arm, but we do what we've got to do. So we'll get our two back probes placed into the back end of the plug. So we've managed to get back probed into the actual plug itself, and we'll show you what we've got in a minute, but the part that's been fitted to the left rear wheel is a genuine Citroen/Peugeot sensor, so we've no reason to doubt the sensor, and we'll just show you what we've got. So you can see we've got a total of 1.2 volts, and that is obviously wrong. So we've got a resistive path in here somewhere, or a resistive path in the wiring, but what we're going to do is just double check what we've got coming out of the control unit, just to be 100% sure that it's definitely the wiring and not something internal to the control unit. So as you've seen in the last clip, we have got a resistive path somewhere in that twisted pair. Now usually this wouldn't be too bad, but the wiring on these runs from the ABS sensor, and it's got the electronic handbrake on it as well. It runs up to a multi-plug. I've checked there, that's fine. We've still got the fault from, you know, at that point that we've checked, so we know the voltage drop is further back in the loom. So from there the wiring then runs up above and goes onto the fuel tank at the very top of the fuel tank itself, where it's not really accessible. So the garage has pulled it in on the ramp, and I'm not really meant to be filming in here, but I'll show you a wee glimpse of where the brake is and the after repair. So once we've repaired it, we'll take it a run, and hopefully the steering angle sensor U205 fault code, hopefully that disappears and we'll all be good to go. Well, look at that, guys. All you can see there is the bit of corrosion that's on the end of the cable. That's the main issue, and that's what's causing this fault, to prevent the voltage getting to the sensor, or the correct voltage getting to the sensor I should say. That's why the sensor's not working. Now if you were to test this with the sensor unplugged, you would get close to battery voltage. You always want to test it while the sensor's plugged in, so the circuit is under some sort of load. But you can see even better here just where the wire is broke. What we're going to do is get that repaired and see if our fault is fixed. So now we have everything plugged back in, the wiring is repaired. You can see the voltage is reading what it should be, close to battery voltage, and no longer reading 1.2 volts. We also tidied up all the wiring that was surrounding it, the conduit, taped everything up just to prevent any further faults in the future. I must admit, this garage giving me the ramp to do this work made the job a hell of a lot easier, and I'm a bit jealous. I should maybe look into getting a unit with a ramp for access, so jobs like these aren't as difficult. So we're now out of the workshop. We've took the van a run and it's running perfect. The fault code for the steering wheel angle sensor, I think it was U1205, that is now gone. One thing I will say is it won't go away straight away. You need to take it for about a mile road test, and then it will recalibrate the steering angle. I think there's a funny way to calibrate it through the computer on these, but we didn't have to do that. It is now reading fine. It's sitting at 0 degrees now on live data, and we've got no further complaints of that fault. We haven't checked the wheel speeds at the back, however we do believe that they're going to be fine, but we'll just check that on live data, make sure they're responding, and this job will be good to go. Well, hopefully you can see a steering angle. It's changing on live data. If we put it as close to straight ahead as we can, if we can try and get it down to near enough 0, so we're close enough. But the steering angle is now back working as it should. So we'll go out and we'll go into ESP and make sure everything is all right. We have obviously got fault codes there. That's previous fault codes. We've not cleared the system yet. Go to read data stream, dynamic information, and we'll click all the wheel speeds. I'll try and turn this brightness down a wee bit. So we're clicked on all the wheel speeds there, all are reading 0, and we'll just move forward. And hopefully, yep, you can see there it's picking up wheel speeds as it should. So happy days. Sometimes these can look different just because obviously it shrinks, but we're reading pretty much bang on. It's amazing how this little bit of green corrosion can cause all of the warning lights that were on this car previously. Right, so just to sum this job up, we came here today to diagnose an ABS fault. The sensor was already replaced. That was like 10 quid to replace, so they've just replaced it, which is fine. We quickly diagnosed the fault to be a resistive path in the wiring. The reason it's a resistive path is you've got three types of electrical faults that you can get: open, short and resistive. The reason we knew it was a resistive path is because it should have 12 volts or near battery voltage at that sensor, and we only had 1.2 volts. So we knew it was a resistive fault, and we knew that we had to track the wiring and find where the resistive path was. Luckily enough, it wasn't right in the middle of where the fuel tank sits. It was just at the beginning, so we could access it to do a repair. Once we repaired that, took the car a run, the steering angle's back to the way it should, there's no further fault codes, and the van is now fixed. So we're going to wrap this video up, guys. If you can, remember, like, share and subscribe. It does help with the building the channel, and obviously we didn't put much videos out this week, but with a couple of things going on in the background, we're possibly going to be changing vans, so we've got a lot of things going on in the background other than YouTube, but we hope this video is useful to someone, and we'll see you on the next one.